Once you see this chart, you can't unsee it. I was on a call with a client 2 days ago. He told me that he had on multiple occasions used various apps and tools to create a budget. He told me I set it up and then I never looked at it again. This conversation reminded me of this chart, and so I thought I would share it with you as well. And this doesn't just apply to finance. We all want to be in shape, maintain our finances, drink plenty of water, go to sleep on time, and eat well. Yet dreams often don't match reality. New Year's resolutions fade, life happens, and we fall out of the habits that just a few weeks earlier we were super excited to maintain. Why does this happen? It's a super simple concept. You ready? Here it is. This curve represents motivation. When we begin to do something, we're highly motivated. We're excited. We get into the gym. We set our alarms just a little bit earlier, and we drank a gallon of water yesterday. Or, like my client, he was ready and intentional to take control of his money. And then this curve represents results. The x-axis here represents time. We know that when we exercise and eat well, results will come. Not tomorrow, not next week, but if we wait 12 months, we can look back and see all of the progress that we've made and wow, we feel great. And the same thing happens with our money. We're motivated to face our finances and to get back on track. We're determined to get out of debt and ready to not feel overwhelmed. We want to buy that house and invest for our futures. And this is where we are. Highly motivated, and we see no results. Okay, so now what? As time goes on, our motivation starts to deteriorate. We get less and less and less motivated. And as you can see, as multiple days, weeks, months go by, we haven't really seen all that much as far as results. And so our motivation is deteriorating, and our results aren't really going up in proportion to the motivation. See, when we're highly motivated, we want to get started and we want to see these results right away. But that's just not how it happens. It must happen over time. It's like this with exercising, it's like this with money. And this incredible thing happens that if we stick to it for a long enough period of time, we will start to see those results occur. And notice that it's not motivation anymore that is causing these results. It's actually discipline. Because in order to reach here, we have to be disciplined even though our motivation is here. And so as time goes on, we see very few results. Our motivation fades, our excitement wears off, and doing the weekly checkup on our budget starts to become once a month and then nothing at all. And then a few months or a year goes by and we have to start over. And then what happens? We have to draw the graph again. Our motivation is high, our results are low, and we're right back to where we started. When I asked my client about his experience, he said that he felt guilt. Guilt is such an interesting emotion. It's probably the one that I hear most whenever it comes with money, and it's incredibly common. He got stuck in that cycle, and he's not alone. We have all done this. And so now we're working on structuring his finances in his life to make it a step-by-step process versus, oh, I need to do all of these different things all at once. We're breaking it down into smaller pieces and trying to find early wins so that we can see some of those early results while the motivation is still high. You see, if we start to see results early on, then our motivation actually kind of goes up from here. We start to see the results, we get excited about the results, and so we want to see more results. So what we're actually trying to do is manipulate this graph. We're trying to make it so that we see earlier results, even if they are not as dramatic as what he wants or the end goal. But if we can find those results while the motivation is still high, then the goal is to increase motivation along with the results. And so how do we improve with this? If we know that this is the case, if we know that results will come given enough time and discipline and consistency, then how do we improve our odds of actually achieving them? So a few suggestions. Set process goals versus outcome goals. Focus more on the inputs, the consistency aspect, the actual act of doing the budget, of tracking your expenses and working toward that plan versus being so consumed over the outcome. We know that the results will come. We just need enough inputs over enough period of time in order to see those results. My second suggestion would be to track your progress. For fitness, this would be like taking photos of yourself. Whenever we look in the mirror every single day, then it's really hard for us to notice changes about our own bodies. And it's the same with finance. Whenever we look at our bank balance every day or our budget every day, it kind of feels the same. So for finances, this could be, instead of taking photos, this could be something like tracking the number of weeks that we consistently tracked expenses. My third suggestion is to reduce friction. Personally, I don't like exercising, but I know that I feel so much better whenever I do. And so I set my clothes out the night before. I reduce the friction in the morning so that whenever my alarm goes off, all I have to do is throw on my clothes. This simple change has dramatically increased the frequency, consistency, and discipline that I have of actually exercising. And so for finances, this really depends on your schedule and process, but find a day or time each week to review your progress, to track your expenses, to make sure that you are still on track to hitting your goals. My fourth suggestion is to know your why. What are the reasons that you want to improve your finances? This typically stems from wanting to run from something like financial stress, or run to something like financial independence or work optionality. It could be creating a healthy financial environment for your children, or the flexibility to have hobbies, or it could be to avoid bankruptcy or stop fighting about money with your partner. Whatever the reason, know why this is important to you. My fifth suggestion would be to work with someone. Find someone that you trust, someone who wants to see you win and who wants the best for you, not someone who's going to judge you. And frequently talk through this with them. It is far easier to accomplish our goals when someone is rooting for us. And lastly, something that oddly helps me personally is asking myself, what kind of person do I want to be? For me, I want to be the type of person who manages my money well. I want to be the type of person who is active and fit and cares about his health. And then when the motivation wanes, because it will, remind yourself of that person. What would they do? Would they check in on their budget? Would they put on their clothes and go to the gym? Hope you all have a great week.